Greetings, my fellow free and local sovereign thinkers. This is LL3's newest podcast. My name is Craig, and I'm presiding in the beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida. And today is March 2nd, 2014, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Yeah, it's nice and sunny out there. A little cool for us southern folks, but I like it. And today I'm going to be doing a couple of topics here for this episode, and the first one is been posted by the Telegraph. It's entitled "Meet the Night Wolves, Putin's Hell's Angels," and this is pretty interesting, and it was written by Harry Alsop, excuse me. So, well, let's just check it out, and I'll give you my intake. Alright, let's begin. The fiercely patriotic motorcycle gang are a key source of the Russian soft power in former Soviet states. The Night Wolves are Russia's largest motorcycle club with over 5,000 members. Fiercely patriotic, they believe that wherever the Night Wolves are, that should be considered Russia. On Saturday, Night Wolves organized a mass ride from the northeast of Ukraine through the Russian-speaking eastern regions to the Crimea. They wanted to hand out supplies to pro-Russian militia forces there. A member of the club's local chapter said, "We don't want what happened in Kyiv to happen here. Nazis and bandits have seized power there, and we have to fight. We'll fight with everything we can get our hands on." The Night Wolves formed during Perestroika. I hope I pronounced that right. Yeah. Perestroika. In the 1980s, Russia as a counter-Soviet group idolizing rock music and motorbikes. Even today, they claim to reject all laws, written and unwritten, in all political or religious movements. So it's odd that Russian President Vladimir Putin has struck up an enduring friendship with the group's leader, Alexander Zaldonosov, a man nicknamed the Surgeon. Indeed, Mr. Putin's links to the group are considerable enough that he was accidentally put on a blacklist by Finnish authorities, banning him from entering the country. Finnish authorities later said it had been a big mistake, and they had ordered the banning order to be removed. Mr. Putin first met the bike group in 2009, a stunt that has his detractors viewed as another of his macho photo opportunities. Mr. Putin's link to the group seemed sincere. Mr. Putin was once 4 hours late for a meeting with former Ukrainian leader Viktor Yanukovych because he had been torn with the Crimea with Mr. Zaldonosov. Last year, Mr. Putin awarded Mr. Zaldonosov with the Order of Honor for his active work in the patriotic upbringing of the young. Mr. Zaldonosov has praised the president for his attempts to restore Russia's greatness. In 2011, a leather-clad Putin led a column of the Night Wolves into a Russian city of Norilsk for a bike show. The group's rallies and rides have become an increasing show of Russian soft power in Eastern Europe. Following feminist group Pussy Riot's punk prayer in a Moscow cathedral, the Night Wolves offered to guard Orthodox cathedrals against any further hooliganism. The group's political links also have led to clashes with rival motorbike groups. One of their members was killed last November in a shootout with the Three Roads Club. Three Roads leader, Yakubini Yorobev, and the shootout had begun over group's decision to end ties with the Wolves in favor of a U.S.-based club called the Bandidos. The Bandidos. Interesting. He added that the wolves had become too politicized. It reminds me of some little movements here a while back with the Hells Angels and the Outlaws. Of course, the Banditos. If I'm correct, there's mostly like the Texas, Louisiana area. Not so sure. It's been a while, but I do recall them. And that's interesting with the whole motorcycle club with politics. It looks like Vladimir Putin's trying to really, in my observation, try to like attract all the rugged-looking individuals to say, "Hey, join me. I need you." And on the other side too, with what's going on in Kyiv, it is correct that the rebels that are considered the Nazis and stuff like that was really well organized. And there was even reports that they caught them with their swastika tattoos, and they were armed. That was I just addressed that in some of my other archives, other episodes. So it's gonna be really interesting. It looks like it's a big, like I call it grand chessboard game. Because around you got the West, NATO. NATO wanted Ukraine. Now Russia wants it. The fact is, too, Ukraine is considered the breadbasket of Europe. Because the Soviet Union was like very fascinated with them. Because they could really grow so much food and share it in that whole entire region. And during that time, the Soviet Union did control the breadbasket of Ukraine. And like millions of Ukrainians starved to death. So the whole thing is this, my friends. Like I said before, Kio Bono, who benefits? We gotta keep our eyes and ears open on what's going on over there, because I do see like a imperialistic game, of the grand chessboard. So I might put that grand chessboard site up too on my Spreaker page, which hopefully everyone can read, which was done by Zbigniew Brzezinski, how to control the whole Eurasian region. And it's really something to check out, because when I read that book, I despise that son of a bitch, excuse my language, a lot more. If you read it, you can understand where I'm coming from. But I do see like a big power struggle and see how they can fish in hook, line, and sinker. In my opinion, it's more of a very good political game. Who's more cooler, I would say. Who's the coolest guy in the block? And I know I was reading some of the comments, which it makes a lot of sense. Like this one gentleman wrote on here. Oprah Diaz, he has 25 minutes ago he wrote this. He goes, next month he will don his leather jacket, put his skull and crossbones bandana, and ride into a biking history as the first angel to take part officially in a royal pageant. Snob is joining in a carnival procession, the mall towards Buckingham Palace, Tuesday, June 4th, in accumulation of celebration of the Golden Jubilee. Behind him will be 49 other bikers, one for each year of the Queen's reign. Yep. Another one hit. Here's another one, too. Looks like Putin has found his very own version of the SS. That was written by person. Yeah, probably Crest 71. Hey, you never know, man. This is very... It looks like history may be repeating itself. So a lot of these individuals are seeing the bigger picture. And of course, one by Right Aitley. Hang on your scrapping right through the bottom of the barrel now. Stupid propaganda. That's possible as well. So, like I said, when I do these little reports or stories, I like to hear all my viewers always observe responsibly. I'm not saying it's right or wrong on certain topics, but this one here, we got to really just question a few things. And remember the past is today's greatest teacher. All right, my friends. Okay, so I'm gonna be hitting another one, which one's here's very, very cool. It really reflects to the great state of Florida, and it's House Bill 1, genetically engineered foods. It was written by authored by Federico Vallisandina. Co-sponsored so far: Berman, Dudley, Krenner, Bradford, Peters, Pritchett, Rader, Richardson, Stewart, Zimmerman. And Genetically Engineered Foods provides a list of commercial commodities commonly cultivated in the genetically engineered forms, requires DAC to publish list by specific dates, and annually update list, provides mandatory labeling requirements for genetically engineered raw agricultural commodities and processed foods made with or derived for genetically engineered ingredients, provides for enforcement of labeling requirements, provides civil remedies and penalties. And this was actually written a while back, actually brought to the floor around October, if I'm correct. Let me just verify this. Actually was filed by that person, Renhenko Vallisandan. I'm gonna forgive me, I probably mispronounced that person's name terribly, forgive me. And it was filed on August 15th, 2013, around 3:18 p.m. That's from the myfloridahouse.gov. And it was on a halt, to the Agriculture and Natural Resources Subcommittee on October 7th, 2013. And of course it was referred to the State Affairs Committee on the same date, and Agriculture and Natural Resources Appropriations Subcommittee. So it's like on a halt right now, and there is actually a related bill, which is the same title, and which is Senate Bill number 558. And I will read the original text, which statutes refer to this bill, 500.90 or verse 90. So I'm gonna read this, get it right in there. I'm gonna read the bill to you. It's like 9 pages long, so be patient. And it's called here, a bill to be entitled, an act related to genetically engineered foods, creating statute 590.90, Florida statute, providing definitions, providing a list of commercial commodities commonly cultivated in genetically engineered form, requiring Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services to publish the list by specific date, specified date, and annually update the published list, providing mandatory labeling requirement for genetically engineered raw agricultural commodities and processed foods made with the derived from genetically engineered ingredients, exempting specified foods, commodities, ingredients, and other substances from the labeling requirements. It's authorizing the department to adopt rules providing for enforcement for the labeling requirements, providing civil remedies and penalties, providing an effective date. Whereas the legislature finds that the consumer should have right to know whatever the food that they purchase contains genetically engineered material, and whereas manipulating genes, inserting them into organism, is an imprecise process that produces results that are not always predictable or controllable, and can lead to adverse health or environmental consequences. And whereas a mandatory labeling of genetically engineered foods can provide a critical method for tracking the potentially dangerous health effects of consuming engineered, I'll hit the next page here, foods, and whereas currently there is no federal requirement mandating disclosure of genetically engineered foods on food labels, and whereas the vast majority of the public wants to label on genetically engineered foods, and whereas the countries around the world, including the European Union member states, Japan, and other key United States trading partners that have laws mandating disclosure of genetically engineered foods on food labels, and whereas no international agreements prohibit the mandatory labeling of genetically engineered foods, and whereas without mandatory labeling of genetically engineered foods, consumers may unknowingly violate their own dietary and religious principles, and whereas the cultivation of genetically engineered crops can negatively impact the